Well, good morning and welcome to our midpoint of our stay on Scilly. Today, as we look over there at the boats, this lovely tranquil sight, we're not going to go on a boat trip. We are going to go for a little walk around the southern part of the island. Out there yesterday it was pretty much rough, and we reckon it'll be about the same today. So today we are going to stay put, and we're going to go out in the morning around the south and east of the island of St Mary's, and then we're going to come back for about lunchtime and then make out again this afternoon. So we hope to see you later on.
As the sea's a little bit bumpy this morning, we were going to go on a wildlife safari, but we took one look at the white waves heading over towards the other islands and thought it's going to be incredibly bumpy looking for seals and puffins, so we thought we'd postpone that one and do a bit more exploration on St Mary's, because with St Mary's what tends to happen is people come and stay here and they spend all their time hopping on boats and going to the off islands as they're known, but they don't actually explore St Mary's, and there's a lot to see here. So we thought we'd come and do the other end. We did the top end when we first got here on Sunday, was it? Sunday, that's right. I'm trying to remember now. I don't know what day it is. That's a good sign, isn't it? And we thought we'd do the bottom and the Old Town end today. So I'm just going to pan over. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's the old church, the Old Town church. Tiny little building. And it used to be a lot bigger. It was originally constructed in the early part of the 12th century, around about 1130. And it's just amazing, isn't it? I love that when you go into an old churchyard and you see something that's been around for hundreds of years. But I'm just going to take you over here. This is a very big graveyard, and this is its most famous occupant, Harold Wilson, who was the Prime Minister when I was born. So he was Prime Minister from 1964 to 1970, Labour Prime Minister, and from 1974 to 1976, so actually twice in my lifetime, and his wife Gladys Mary Wilson. And he had a small, very, very unobtrusive bungalow in St Mary's. We've just walked past it earlier on. It's very, very plain, very simple, and he would come out here every summer. I guess Prime Ministers all have their bolt holes, don't they? Harold Wilson's was the Isles of Scilly, and he really loved it. A bit like Edward Heath loved his sailing, I think I'm right in saying that. Tony Blair liked going to Tuscany, and Margaret Thatcher didn't like holidays at all. If I was Prime Minister, I'm not sure what my bolt hole would be, but this place does take a lot of beating. So, there we are. And one other little interesting factoid for you. I'm quoting a Steve Wright phrase there, one of my favourite DJs of all time. Rip, Steve, you were brilliant. Another little factoid is, if you wander around a churchyard like this, you'll see a pattern of familiar surnames. So there's lots of Mumfords buried here. There's lots of Hicks buried here. And I guess in an island community, you had these similar surnames, maybe big extended families being buried together. But it's quite a sizable place, this graveyard. Anyway, we'll head off now. We're going to go and have coffee. We're in the Old Town, and as you can see, we have another deserted beach. There was a lady walking her dog along here just now, and that was it. Can't see her now. I think she's some distance away. Quite a fresh breeze blowing today. I certainly wouldn't be going to cold water swimming. And you can see how choppy it is out to sea, the waves breaking over the rocks over there. We were hoping to stop and have a coffee. However, the Old Town Cafe, which is over there, has got a big close sign on it. And I'd say that's probably the only downside about coming to the Isles of Scilly in early April. A lot of things appear still to be shut, so you do have to make some allowances for that. So the trade-off is obviously it's lovely and quiet everywhere and there's no one about. If you're looking for lots of pit stops, coffees, lunches, you can get those in Hugh easily, but anywhere away from there or on the off islands could well be closed, so be warned. This is the view from Juliet's, which is a very nice coffee, bar and restaurant on St Mary's. Salonian's over there. Docked a little bit late today, bit of a bumpy ride over, and we are having lunch. We've just been for a route march. I did lots of complaining because my feet hurt today, and I'm just going to show you crab lunch, which looks very nice and fresh, and prawn sandwiches. Yum. I'm going to eat them now. I'm going to release my inner Lucy Worsley now and give you a little history lesson. So we just had a lovely lunch at Juliet's and we're just walking very, very slowly back to our accommodation. We're going to stop at some places on the way. The lovely thing about St Mary's is there's lots to do here. This island can keep you quite busy. It's the biggest of the lot. And this is Harry's Walls. There's lots of history on St Mary's, and this is part of a fort, a Tudor fort that was started being built in 1551 by Henry VIII's only son, Edward VI, and it was never finished. And that giant stone over there is prehistoric, and they tried to move that when they were building the fort, but they never quite managed it. You can kind of see why, can't you? It's quite big. So this is Harry's Walls, which is another bit of history. There's lots of fortifications on St Mary's, and this is one of the smaller ones. Now, I didn't quite give you accurate information. This is Harry's Walls, the thing that actually looks like a wall, whereas the thing I pointed at just now isn't actually a wall, it's the beginning of it. This is the actual construction that was built in 1551 to protect the most western part of England. So it's a 16th century artillery fort designed to protect St Mary's, and obviously it was always vulnerable for attack. Obviously France and Spain were our big enemies at that time, and so this was designed to try and head off any chance of attack. This is an honesty shop. As you know, shoplifting is becoming a massive plague on mainland England, Britain. Well, in the Isles of Scilly, there are shops like this where you walk in, they're unstaffed, and you can pay by card or you can put money in a cash box and buy some lovely, lovely goods. So over here we've got greetings cards. We've got the famous chili jam, chili sauce. I've just bought a bottle of that. Made on Briar. Jewellery. And then some very nice little seasidey type things. I bought one of these the other day. Just show you that one there. Isn't that, it's got real silly sand at the bottom. And you can come in and you can have a look at what you want, and then you pay with your card. And it's just great, isn't it, that in this day and age, with so much awful news about shoplifting, you can come into a place like this. And I'll just show you my purchase. There we are. I look forward to trying that when I get home. That's an honesty shop. I'd like to introduce you to a new member of our family. This is Lily the octopus. It's a long story, but we've got another one at home called Clemmy, a pink octopus that's quite large, and we thought it would be lovely to take a little mascot on our travels. We know lots of people do that, and she's not pink, she's a kind of lilac-y purpley colour, and we think she's very pretty. She's also been made in this country, which is lovely. She'll soon have a tariff slapped on her, no doubt, if we send them off to Donald Trump. Anyway, that's enough politics. So meet Lily, and Lily is going to be our mascot, and she's going to travel around the world with us, hopefully. She won't take up very much room in our suitcase, and she's been bought in the Isles of Scilly.